So this video is definitely going to be a little bit different to the typical type of content I produced on this channel, but I really just thought I had to talk about this subject because it has absolutely been pissing me off, and I feel like I'm a fucking dog with fleas on me or some shit because I've been itching around to talk about this because I don't know what is exactly going on. And I'll start off by saying that about a year ago or so, I believe, I actually made a video talking about what David Dobrik is doing in his day-to-day now and what he's been doing since he quit vlogging like years and years ago. And again, I think it's very obvious that I was a pretty big David Dobrik fan. I mean, he has inspired a fair bit of the content on this channel. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the vlogs that I produce are definitely, I think, inspired by him. They're definitely not as good, don't get me wrong. They're pretty shit. They're probably not that great, but you know what? I find them funny. My friends are having a great time in them, and honestly, some of the bits and shit we do, I still feel like there's better acting in it than the acting you see on Pornhub or Mr. Beast video. Anyway, what I actually wanted to talk about in this video today is really like what happened to Jason Nash. And you guys might be thinking, what do you mean, like, what happened to Jason Nash? Like, is he not still making vlogs? Is he not still making podcasts? This and that. And I'm gonna hit you with the answer of just no. He's like not doing any of that. Again, for those of you who don't go on TikTok, because if you have TikTok, you definitely would have seen this motherfucker live streaming. So he live streams for about 18 hours a day on there. Jason Nash essentially now has moved his career from YouTube and podcasting and I think even Snapchat to the app TikTok, which is for the most part been known over its history to be like a dance app, and I guess now there's a fair bit of funny videos on there. Again, it hasn't moved to the stage of like a bunch of people randomly dying by cars on the app like Instagram Shorts and Reels has, but it will probably get there soon. Again, TikTok has kind of become an app now where they're kind of competing with Snapchat, where they're trying to pay these YouTubers whose career has kind of died on that platform to come over and try and make some content with them, right? Well, Jason Nash moved from YouTube and podcasting and Snapchat to TikTok, as he goes on to say they actually offered him a pretty decent amount of money. And essentially what this guy does with his life now is basically live stream on TikTok for about 18 hours a day, it feels like. I'm not even lying, to an audience which can sometimes, I believe, be as low as 100 people.
There's a guy called Jason Nash. You'll remember him from the David Dobrik vlogs.
Of course.
And I clicked on him once because I heard this thing that he is always live on TikTok. This is his full-time job now. He does this. I go on there's like 500 people watching it, and it's just, he's just constantly like, hey man, thank you for the satellite, thank you for the candy.
Because the thing is, there's got to be nothing worse than being famous and broke. Imagine seeing Jason Nash, like, you know, bagging groceries. Not that that's not an admirable job, but imagine every day people being like, holy shit, Jason Nash, dude, you're bagging groceries? What are you doing here?
That would be rough.
Just nonstop, everyday humiliation.
Why don't I get a real job?
Okay, you know what? Just flavor it like that. Why don't you get a real job?
I don't have any skills.
Don't get me wrong, this is not the bad part. It's not necessarily the bad part that a YouTuber who has like 3 million subscribers on YouTube, who was in weekly vlogs of arguably one of the biggest YouTubers of all time's videos, has gone down to live streaming on an app for like 100 viewers. That's not even the bad part. If you actually join in to one of these TikToks, it looks really sad. Essentially, it's just Jason Nash live streaming and begging people to basically give him these like things like called galaxies and stuff like that, which essentially is money. It's really Jason Nash just sitting on an app going, come on, ladies and gentlemen, donate me this fucking galaxy and I'll give you a hand job so I can feed my kids. I'm literally crying. That was actually, I just nearly had a fucking mild asthma attack trying to be like Jason Nash for literally 10 seconds. Holy shit, that is sad. I'm not sure it's because I'm morbidly obese and Jason Nash is not, or whatever that might be, but holy fuck. Anyway, it's just really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Again, it is as bad as it sounds. It is essentially this dude on this app basically begging people for money for multiple hours of the day. It is a really weird watch. I actually put myself through there like a fucking torture from a third world country and sat there and watched this dude for like 20 minutes, and I saw the fall off of one of my former great favorite YouTubers basically begging to give me a blowjob if I gave him some money. It's a really weird thing. And the thing is, this has attracted a lot of attention now from so many different creators on YouTube, Twitch, even TikTok, the app he's on, and even some of his former best friends who actually go on their respected podcasts or vlogs and actually talk about this matter.
Why is everybody going live on TikTok now?
Apparently there's a lot of money.
But like, I don't know how
We
much.
see him.
Apparently the money
there
is
is, okay.
big. You make good money when you do the battles. That's when they're like all like, all right, come on, let's get us to like this many likes and this many hearts.
Every
Come
time
on,
I see
guys.
that, I need to see the amount that they make after one battle. Like, I just need to see what they're doing that for.
There is no
Oh,
amount.
there's no amount I'll do. There's no way.
What's your price?
It looks
to-
crazy. Man, I think it's one of those things where I wouldn't catch myself. Like, I would do it, and then I would like say it to a friend, be like, "Oh man, I can't tonight. I got to go live on." I should probably not do that. You know,
Yeah.
like I think once I like talked about it.
But like 40 hours a week. What's like the?
Oh man, I mean, I need a Joe Rogan type deal for that. Yeah,
His former friends Heath and Zane, I believe, have this podcast, and they've basically been seen making fun of Jason on this podcast. But at the end of the day, with all the jokes and the humor that everyone is really putting out and kind of just making fun of Jason, they are all sitting there though and still saying, well, this guy has a family and he still has to feed his kids. So even though it seems kind of cringy and pathetic that this dude is live streaming, basically begging people for money for hours on a day, again, I think we would all do the same if we had a family, all that type of stuff, right? Again, I guess you can think of it as working a 9 to 5, except when someone works a 9 to 5, I don't think they are begging people to give them a Galaxy, Opal, whatever the fuck, right? It's a really weird thing. This has led to further more controversy though, as a lot of people are just saying this is really sad and pathetic of this once great former YouTuber sitting there and live streaming to people basically at the top of his lungs screaming for money. But not only is that the controversial part, the controversial part has now lent over to David Dobrik, as people are basically saying, well, David Dobrik has made so much money off these vlogs for years and years due to these sponsorships, merchandise sales, I think, advertisement now leading to his pizza shop, which seems to be doing really well. I believe he's got a lot of money in another clothing apparel called Happy Face or something like that, amongst a bunch of other things. Like, he has his own perfume, right? David has made all of this money stemming from the vlogs, and one of the huge part of the vlogs and where the comedy came from in the vlogs did come from Jason Nash. So a lot of people are just saying, well, David, why don't you give this guy a little bit of a shout out and give him like a reward for Christmas or something to say, hey man, here's a couple $100,000 for helping me all those years for all the vlogs and making me a multi-millionaire, right?
And I'm just saying, like, you were part of the biggest YouTube series, or one of the biggest YouTube series, which is David Dobrik's vlogs. How is it that you've ended up doing that?
I think with them vlogs, he did get over a little bit. Like, I think David obviously gave him a nice life and had him in the videos. David now is on like some mad party vibe, and he never used to drink. He used to constantly just grind whilst everyone else was living life. He'd film everyone, and now he's just like partying, doesn't want to work when everyone's like, bro, I need to work.
Again, to me, David is really just slapping Jason Nash in the face with his cock, just watching him sit there on live stream every single day. Like, and the reality is there is evidence to support that David Dobrik just does not give a fuck. If you don't know what I'm talking about as well, Jason Nash did actually confirm that there was a $10 million podcast deal for David Dobrik and Jason Nash actually on the table there. He didn't confirm if it was from Spotify or YouTube or whatever, but he did say it was $10 million for both of them to continue their Views podcast, and they would both take $5 million each. And Jason Nash essentially just begged David and basically said, well, hey mate, it's only going to be like 2 hours out of your week. I can come around, we're best mates, I can come around on a Saturday or whatever, and we can just record this thing for 2 hours and basically catch up. And for some reason, David Dobrik said no.
Yeah.
And we stopped the podcast, and
I was wondering, I hadn't
Yeah.
seen anything
Views?
recently. I was wondering why you stopped the podcast, because I didn't know if you guys weren't enjoying it anymore. Or...
yeah, we just done it for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And
Views?
yeah.
Oh, that stopped?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's stopped
that.
for now. And then, but we might bring it back. We had a meeting the other day about bringing it back. And it's gotta be on both sides. Like, you gotta want to do it.
They were
That's
also
true.
offered like a $10 million
I don't know. I don't
podcast
know.
deal between the two of them. David said no. And he's like, bro, we just need to do an hour and a half a week. Just like, allow me. Like, this is life-changing money for me. And he's like, nah, I can't be.
Now, I really don't understand that, because even if I didn't want to do a podcast and I really wanted to get out of that scene, if my best friend came up to me and said, look, I need help and we're going to be getting paid $5 million each to just talk about our lives and talk shit and have our normal conversations but on camera for 2 hours a week, there is no way I would say no to that. So, again, it just does make you think that even though Jason Nash, his career's kind of fallen down to what it's kind of become, you also got to think, well, look at all the sacrifices and stuff that Jason did to help support David Dobrik's career, and David's kind of just rewarded him with really nothing. Again, he's given him a Tesla, as we know in the vlogs, but realistically, with all the money Jason Nash has helped David Dobrik make by making those vlogs extremely funny over the years, you would think David Dobrik would have maybe gotten him a little bit more than just a Tesla. So I guarantee you Jason Nash made him a lot more money than what a Tesla is worth. So again, I definitely would really like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Do you guys think what Jason Nash is doing right now is good? Is it fine? Is it not as controversial as a lot of people are saying, or pathetic as a lot of people are saying? I'd very much like to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my sports channel and my gaming channel, and comment as well. Do you think David Dobrik should be helping Jason Nash out? I'd very much like to know your thoughts and opinions. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.